Talking about the rules that are in effect here. This is under the sanctioning body of the Georgia State Boxing Commission. You see the tail of the tape there. You see the difference in the age, a couple of inches in reach, and you see 5 inches in age, so a big factor there for Smoking Mike Perkins in his favor. However, let's listen to the referee right now as he talks to the fighters. All right, the basic difference in the rules here in the state of Georgia, they have a mouthpiece rule that states if the mouthpiece comes out during the fight, the time is stopped in the round while the corner prepares the mouthpiece to go back in. Other than that, the fighter can be penalized if, in the referee's opinion, the mouthpiece is being spit out to give him extra time to perhaps gain some composure. Also, they're required to wear the thumb-tack-down gloves. Here we go. Round one, both fighters in blue and white trunks. Berbick has the ones with kind of arrows to the right of your screen, the darker blue trunks with the white tubing around the middle and the arrows coming down the side. So we'll separate them that way. Trevor Berbick putting the pressure on immediately on young Smokin' Mike Perkins. This is Berbick with his back to you. Looks to be much bigger, much stronger. He has 2.5 inches in height. Berbick is 13 pounds heavier. He's 5 years older, but has so much more experience, it's incredible. We'll talk about that once we get moving here. Mike Perkins from Hallandale, Florida. A big opportunity for him, should he be able to win this fight over Trevor Berbick, to move up in the rankings. He lost his last fight, a close decision to Eddie Gregg. And in Trevor Berbick's last time out, in August, he had a decision over Mitch Green to retain the USBA championship. Again, Berbick has been in with the best of them. We'll talk about that later on. He's on a string of 7 straight wins since he lost back in 1983 to S.T. Gordon. And, of course, he holds the distinction of being the first fighter to go 15 rounds with Larry Holmes at a time when no one had gone 15 rounds with Larry Holmes since he had won the title from Kenny Norton. This is round one, scheduled for 10. Heavyweight division. Berbick in the first round just appears to be so much stronger than Mike Perkins. He looks so much bigger. Perkins trying to keep him off with a jab, but as you see, Berbick's able to go walk right through it. The biggest victory of 1985 for Trevor Berbick was when he defeated David Bay for the USBA title. That was out in Las Vegas in June of last year. Nice light left goes by the chin of Berbick, by Perkins rather. Both fighters have that look of determination in the eye. We're only in round one. Again, the 10-point must scoring system is in effect here, where the winner of the round gets the 10 points. The loser 9 or less. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect for this fight. It's also in effect for the championship fight. Fighter must get up following a low blow or he can be counted out. And there is a mandatory 8 count following knockdowns. Coming up to the end of round number 1. All right, a very workmanlike first round for Trevor Berbick, who certainly had more pressure on Perkins than Perkins had on him, so in that case you'd have to give the 10 points to Berbick and the 9 points to Perkins. I'm only going to try to lead you as I feel the scoring is going. Of course, the judges, 3 judges, will do the scoring here. The referee has no say in the scoring. Again, as we take a look at the ring record of Trevor Berbick, he's been in with some of the best in boxing. Looking back at his career record, Larry Holmes back in April of '81, first to go 15 rounds. His biggest win probably in his career, a guy that he probably hated to beat but wanted to at the time, Muhammad Ali, was a big hero of Trevor Berbick. He defeated him in December of '81. And then a big series of fight wins for him. Here we go, round number 2 in this scheduled 10-rounder. Talk about some of the wins. He defeated Greg Page. He lost to Ronaldo Snipes, which was a surprise, and he lost to S.T. Gordon. Then he beat Ken LaCosta, Mike Cohen, Mark Lee, Ernie Barr, Walter Centimore, David Bay, and his most recent victim was Mitch Blood Green. Right now, he's having it all his way against Mike Perkins. Trevor Berbick with the arrows in the white on the side of his trunks. Since they both have blue trunks on, the darker blue ones, Trevor Berbick. Berbick to the right of your screen, and look how much bigger he looks in this man. 221 to 208. 13 pounds in weight, 2.5 inches in height, and 5 years more experience, I'll put it that way, instead of 5 years older. This is round 2. It's scheduled for 10. It's important when we talk about Berbick being so much stronger because Mike Perkins' jab, he just walks right through it. At time he got a sneaky right hand through, but no damage done to Berbick whatsoever. Trevor Berbick very much in the heavyweight picture. A lot of things happening in the heavyweight picture we'll talk about later on. Number 6 in the WBC, 7th in the WBA, 7th by Ring Magazine. So Berbick is right up there. Mike Perkins, on the other hand, with his 17-9 record, would love to be able to upset Berbick, but he's going to have to do a lot more than paw with his left hand and occasionally get through a right hand with Berbick to win this fight. Berbick, all business in there, able to pick off the shots of young Mike Perkins. Perkins not a disciplined fighter. When he goes out with the left hand, every once in a while he tries to throw the right, but he telegraphs it tremendously. It comes from the hip. See those powering left jabs? They don't do anything at all. Then he comes upstairs and they take no effect on Berbick whatsoever. Berbick needs to get himself in position, and if I were Berbick, I'd move side to side a little bit more to stop Perkins from being able to kind of really pour in on him like that. Keep him off a little bit more with the left hand. Sneaky right hand lead that time by Trevor Berbick. Perkins actually forcing the fight, but his punches are so light they just don't take any effect. Good right uppercut that time by Berbick. Berbick is a guy that can go the distance. And his last fight, he went 12 rounds. The time before that, when he beat Bay, he went 11. Here's the bell ending round number 2. There's hard. Here we go, round number 3. We're coming to you live from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Bob Sheridan. Glad that you can be with us on the Don King Sports and Entertainment Network. Trevor Berbick and Mike Perkins, the principals in there. Perkins with the lighter blue trunks to the right of your screen now. Trevor Berbick in the darker blue. Perkins forcing the fight a little bit, and I thought he might have been able to grab 10 points for himself in that last round. Keeps coming in on Berbick. Berbick, while he looks stronger, really hasn't been able to land the real heavy blow yet to the head of Perkins. Yet Perkins throws a lot of leather, and it just takes no toll to the head or body of Trevor Berbick. However, judges watching, you'll hear the referee Jim Korb warning about the heads coming together. Inside right hand for Trevor Berbick there. Again, all the infighting is being won by Trevor Berbick. Inside, you see that head bouncing back of Mike Perkins. That means a nice right uppercut has been landed. You see Perkins pours in, but inside it's Berbick that's doing the scoring. See inside again, very hard to see on television, but believe me, a lot of heavy shots are being landed by Berbick inside. Most of them to the chin of Mike Perkins. I'll try to point them out to you. See that little sneaky right hand there? That will take its toll in the course of a fight. This pawing now that Perkins is doing is taking no toll whatsoever on Berbick. See, there's another right hand, another left hand. Those punches hurt. They're short, crisp shots. Again, Berbick sets him up with the right hand lead, scores a nice right inside shot, and again, Perkins continues to paw that does no damage at all. You see the time remaining in round number 3. This is scheduled for 10. Of course, the big one coming up, the heavyweight championship of the world, Tony Tubbs and Tim Witherspoon. Perkins continues to force the fight, but he just isn't able to do anything with Trevor Berbick whatsoever. Berbick just appears to be so much stronger. The bell ends round number 3, and you saw the punch being thrown, and he was in the middle of a combination that was nothing intentional. Let's see if we can hear the corner now of Trevor Berbick. All right, watch this. Watch the in-punching. You see Perkins score. You see right away Berbick comes back and lands a shot. That's right at the end of the round. We'll show you the replay again. Scores a little shot, and right away the referee moves in and stops the action. And that's all that happened at the end of the round. Nothing too serious. But in the middle of a combination, the bell sounds. The people boo like the guy is trying to do something less than legal. And believe me, you can't stop throwing a punch when you're in the middle of a combination. This is Trevor Berbick. All right, here we go with round number 4. Trevor Berbick with his back to you to the left of the screen now. That's Smokin' Mike Perkins to the right of your screen. Fancies himself as another Smokin' Joe Frazier. But if he's going to carry that name off, he's going to have to do a little bit more than he's shown us so far. Maybe to take away from the fact that Perkins has been aggressive in game here. Berbick caught him that time with a good right hand. Nice body shot. Good body shots by Berbick. Berbick looks like he wants to pick up the pace here at any moment. All it is for Trevor is getting his body in position to throw the right hand. Once he throws either the right cross or right uppercut, he'll follow up with a nice combination to take his man out. Not a lot of wasted movement, a lot of wasted motion by Trevor Berbick. And when they're in the clinches, he lands a lot of blows. Nice right uppercut again that time. See the body shots thrown by Perkins again. None of this does any damage. A little almost a backhand at that time. Doesn't bother Berbick at all. Left hook catches Perkins, but not too heavy. Perkins beginning to show the fatigue. When you see that jaw hanging down, that's a good sign of early fatigue. Although he's still throwing a lot of leather. Got to give Perkins a lot of credit. He came to fight and he's forced to fight. He's going after Berbick, but he just doesn't seem to be big and strong enough to control him at all. Another right hand he walks into. Berbick continues to score the heavier blows. That time he missed a wild right hand and had to answer to Mike Perkins' little left. But again, the blows are just not taking any toll on Berbick at all. Berbick, a very serious look in his eye, the determination, waiting to get into position to really unload the right hand on Mike Perkins. When they come inside, Perkins pays. Very few clinches in the fight. Referee Jimmy Korb hasn't really had to separate them. They get inside, and that's where Berbick likes to leash out the punishment to Mike Perkins. Perkins, see that jaw hanging down, blood in the mouth. Neither fighter has been down in the fight. Neither fighter really visibly shaken. Closing seconds now of round 4. All right. We're in between rounds 4 and 5 in the corner of Mike Perkins. Let's listen. Across the way with Trevor Berbick. All right, we're set for round 5. Bob Sheridan here at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. The principals in the ring in this heavyweight battle. Trevor Berbick and Mike Perkins. Berbick to the left of your screen. Perkins with his back to you now. We're in round 5 in this scheduled 10-round battle. Berbick having things pretty much his way, appears to be much stronger. However, Perkins is forcing the fight. He keeps coming in on Berbick, and when he comes in, Berbick makes him pay. Berbick beating him to the punch inside, wild with the right hand, but clips the left side of the head of Mike Perkins. Perkins showing blood trickling from the lip. He may have a split lip. Or certainly he's cut inside the mouth anyway. But a lot of that happens when you get fatigued and that jaw hangs down. And Trevor Berbick has the experience to make a guy pay for it. Berbick on a string of 7 straight wins going back to 1983 when he lost to S.T. Gordon. Most recent fight in August of 85 when he retained the USBA title against Mitch Blood Green. Before that, he beat David Bay in perhaps his biggest win for the United States Boxing Association Championship. Berbick, again, born in Jamaica, lived most of his boxing career up in Nova Scotia, still maintains a residence in Canada, fights out of Miami, Florida, and does a lot of fighting in Las Vegas, Nevada. So Berbick is kind of a worldly sort of guy. Ranked 6th by the World Boxing Council and 7th by the World Boxing Association. Having things going pretty much his way here in round 5. Working to the body, coming back up to the head. I will say for Perkins, he never stops throwing punches. Waltzed into a left hook that time. The right hand didn't have anything on it, just barely grazed the left cheek of Mike Perkins. Perkins has been tagged with a couple of good left hooks in this round. Probably the heaviest blows of the fight have been landed in this round by Trevor Berbick. I don't know why Perkins continues to try to fight Berbick inside, because with the strength of Berbick, he's just being used as a punching bag when he comes in. Berbick really making him pay inside. Right here, Perkins should just twist away and get away from him. Try to fight him from outside. Berbick's strength is too much. Of course, outside, the punches don't seem to have any effect on Berbick either. Good combination of punches landed that time by Berbick. The bell ends round number 5. Hey, you look into the corner of Mike Perkins and you can see how exhausted he is. See that split lip, the blood coming out. Here we go. Watch what I mean inside, the trouble that Perkins has inside with Berbick. He gets nailed. He sets him up with the left, comes right back with the right hand. Watch this, to the body downstairs. Different angle of the same action. And you see how he pays when he comes inside. You see that head bouncing around. Big wild left hook miss that time, and it's a good thing for Perkins. You heard in the background the corner of Perkins talking about you got to do things like Joe Frazier. Well, Joe Frazier had a little bit heavier punches than young Mike Perkins. Here we go with round number 6. We're coming to you live from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Hope you're enjoying it. Around the world of the Don King Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm Bob Sheridan. Glad that you can be with us. Again, Trevor Berbick to the right of your screen having a field day against young Mike Perkins. I have Berbick winning the first, third, fourth, and fifth rounds. The second round possibly even. Berbick certainly controlling the action. This is the way the fight has gone pretty much throughout. This is scheduled for 10, and all that's happening is Berbick is just continuing to build up points. Mike Perkins doesn't seem to have the strength to be able to handle him. Inside, Berbick controls him. The better flurries and the heavier punches of the fight have been landed by Trevor Berbick. However, neither fighter has been down, except for a small cut inside the mouth of Mike Perkins. Neither fighter has showing any visible signs of the battle. Perkins has been plenty game. Again, he pays when he comes inside. Berbick beating into the punch, getting off much quicker inside, showing much more strength. Surprised Trevor really hasn't gone after him and tried to put him away heavily. There he is to the body. A nice follow-up combination with the right hand. Good right hand that time. Another right hand lead. What Berbick has to do is catch him with a left hook, get his body flowing towards the left, and then nail him with the right hand, and you'll see Perkins go down. Instead, Berbick stays with the right hand leads and is pleased to be able to just beat him inside. A lot of fatigues not only showing in the mouth of Perkins, but the legs and in the knees are starting to look wobbly of Perkins. When you see that happen, it's usually a matter of time. This has been the best round so far for Berbick. He has Perkins backing up 2 good left hooks. Perkins is in a bit of trouble here. He's staggering around. Good shots landed by Berbick. Berbick trying to move in for the kill. Perkins able to keep his feet, doing a good job of it. Good right hand landed again by Trevor Berbick. Legs real wobbly now. Not steady on his feet at all is young Mike Perkins. Perkins, in fact, when he throws his left hand, looks like he could almost tumble over, losing his balance. Inside of 10 seconds remaining in the 6th round. That's it. Now back with live action, the 7th round, live from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Bob Sheridan here in the Don King Sports and Entertainment Network. Hope you folks watching around the world are enjoying this. Don't forget, coming up the big one, the heavyweight championship of the world. And it should be a good fight. 2 contrasting styles of fighters. 2 big heavyweights in Tim Witherspoon. And, of course, Tony TNT Tubbs, the reigning WBA heavyweight champion. That's coming up. Right now, Mike Perkins has his hands full of this man to the left of your screen, Trevor Berbick. No stranger to you folks watching up in Canada. Good right hand landed that time. Perkins is wobbly on his feet, but Trevor doesn't seem to want to follow up with that one. Otherwise, he's looking for an opportunity to land another big right hand. Left hook looking to land the right hand. He'll set it up with the left. Perkins just cannot hold Berbick off, and when he comes inside, he gets beaten to the punch every time. Very tough fight for Mike Perkins. I don't want to say a bad fight for Mike because he's certainly showing the heart. When he was in a lot of trouble back in the 6th round, he was able to hold Berbick off. Here in the 7th round, he's been tagged a couple of times. He has a lot of heart. I will say that for him. But things are all Trevor Berbick's way. And, of course, this is a very important fight for Trevor because they're talking about an elimination leading up to an undisputed heavyweight champion. And someplace along the line, you've got to consider Trevor Berbick in that group of fighters that could get a shot at the title. When I say someplace along the line, actually there'll be an announcement very shortly that Trevor Berbick will be fighting Pinklin Thomas for the heavyweight championship. That's the WBC title. This is more or less of a tune-up fight for Trevor. They're talking about March 22nd for that fight. Not a lot of publicity on it yet because they want to see how Berbick did against Mike Perkins, but you'll see, hear, and probably read a lot about it following this fight. Of course, we're assuming that he will win this fight. Anything can happen. Right now, he's way out in front. Inside of 10 seconds to go in the 7th round. All kinds of boxing dignitaries on hand here. You see in the front row across the way, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes. Just to mention a few, there's others in attendance. I'm sure we may have the opportunity to have them introduced later on. There's Muhammad Ali, and he looks in great form. He's been sparring with Tony Tubbs leading up to this fight, and he's back to his old self. When you see Ali around boxing, that's when he's the happiest. All right, we're looking at Trevor Berbick. Very organized corner. Larry Holmes back there. There's the former champ. And there's talk about Larry making a comeback, too. They talk about Larry fighting Michael Spinks again. He wants to be in the thick of things. He just doesn't want to go out the way he fought in his last fight. Here we go, round number 8. And this scheduled 10-round heavyweight battle between Trevor Berbick and Mike Perkins. Again, it's Berbick winning just about every round of the fight. Mike Perkins just not strong enough to penetrate. And when he does penetrate, his blows are just so light they don't take any really effect on Trevor Berbick. And as I'm saying that, once again, Mike Perkins gets clipped. All the inside infighting controlled by Trevor Berbick. Big thing in the boxing world, people are talking about it. You know, the heavyweight championship, there's no real king. There's 3 undefeated heavyweight champs now. But nobody really ranks supreme. And Don King's aware of that. And being the extraordinary promoter that he is, Don King wants to bring the boxing world one heavyweight champion so that there will be the thunder and excitement involving heavyweight title fights that there was under the great reign of Muhammad Ali, the great reign of Larry Holmes. The talk right now is the winner of the Tubbs-Witherspoon fight, the winner of the Pinklin Thomas-Trevor Berbick fight will probably have another fight, and then the WBC and WBA champ will fight each other, and the winner of the Spinks-Holmes fight will probably sometime a year from June fight to unify the heavyweight championship. And I think that's what the entire boxing world wants, and I think that's what Don King is going to try to bring to you. You see the time remaining here in round 8. In a fight where neither fighter has been down. Mike Perkins was shaken in the 6th round, but Berbick was unable to dump him. Good right hand, and Perkins looks like he could go again at any time, but Berbick doesn't follow up. Left hook gets through. Berbick has just never been shaken at all in this fight. And, of course, I've mentioned several times that Perkins has tried to force the fight, but every time he comes in, my golly, Trevor Berbick makes him pay. Left hook again scores by Trevor Berbick. I'll tell you one thing. when Berbick fights Pinklin Thomas. He better follow up better than this, or he's going to find himself in a heap of trouble in a hurry. Not a real impressive show for Trevor in my eyes. But, of course, he's winning every round, so maybe I'm expecting too much. You see the time remaining in round 8, inside of 5 seconds now. The bell ends round number 8. All right, watch this now. Watch the way, again, as Mike Perkins bores in on him. He walks right into the right hand thrown by Berbick. And I'll have to say for Mike Perkins, he's taken some really pretty good shots. I expressed a little bit of disappointment in the fact that Berbick hasn't been able to drop him. Maybe I should be praising Mike Perkins because he's taken 3 or 4 real good shots in the course of this fight, and he hasn't been off his feet yet. This fellow, Mike Perkins, spent a lot of time sparring with Michael Dynamite Dokes. He loves Joe Frazier. He lost a 10-round split decision to Eddie Gregg, which was probably one of the big turning points in his career where, had he had won that, he would have been able to move up in the rankings. This was a big fight for Perkins, but he really hasn't been able to rise to the occasion in terms of winning the fight. He certainly has shown me he's a game fighter, and he has the heart of a champion, but I'm afraid the good Lord didn't bless him with the tools that it takes to be a heavyweight champion in this day and age. Does a nice job when he's off balance of getting himself back under control. Has a lot of good qualities. You can see he's a good athlete, but he just doesn't have the size really to be successful in this heavyweight division. He might think about trying to drop some weight and get down and fight in that cruiserweight division. He's only 208 pounds. Really good shots being landed by Trevor Berbick here. And again, Perkins will not go down. His legs are wobbly. He's ready to go. There's a left hand. He looks like he's almost out on his feet. If he had room to fall, I think he would. No, but he stands up. A lot of courage for Mike Perkins. I thought he was ready to tumble, and Berbick wouldn't let him go. He was leaning towards him. Another good right hand landed by Trevor. Perkins, a tough kid. I've got to give him credit. Taking some good shots here. Another shot to the head by Berbick. 3, 4, 5 left hooks. Berbick, in one sense, I think is a bit frustrated. He's hit this kid with everything he's got and hasn't been able to dump him. It's almost like Trevor's toying with him now. He has to know he has the fight won. And I know he'd love to knock him out, but he hasn't been able to dump Mike Perkins to the canvas yet. He's had him stag in this round, the previous round, back in the 6th round. That, of course, is due to conditioning, meaning Mike Perkins came into this fight in the best possible shape he could. Little cut inside the mouth of Mike Perkins. Otherwise, the fighters are visibly unmarked. Another good series of uppercuts. 2 right hands catching Perkins. Every time Perkins takes a step forward, he gets nailed. Same going back now. Now he holds his position. Now he comes forward. Now watch what'll happen. Berbick nails him with the left hand. Watch Perkins when he walks forward, what happens to him. Berbick just counters him. Coming up to the end of round number 9, another good uppercut. Well, the bell has sounded. I don't know what happened there, but there was a delay in the start of round number 10. The bell sounded, and neither fighter moved off their stool. I should say off his individual stool. They were both waiting for perhaps a second bell. I don't know. Anyway, the 10th round is underway, and Trevor Berbick is going to try and pick up the pace and take Mike Perkins out. Big right uppercut, another right hand, left hook scores, another left hook. Berbick looks like he's really going after the knockout now. Big left hook, big right hand by Berbick. Berbick really working for the knockout here. Perkins, don't forget, above that right eye is split wide open. Berbick has that look of determination in his eye, like he wants to take him out. Blood trickling from the right eye of Mike Perkins. Took some vicious shots here. Berbick working downstairs, trying to come back upstairs and unload that big right hand to win this fight. Perkins has not been off his feet. He's lost almost every single round. Berbick has controlled the pace, but Perkins has not been off his feet. Much to the credit of his conditioning. All right, now the referee moves in to take a look at that right eye, and the referee, Jim Korb, stops the fight. It'll be scored as a 10th round TKO win for Trevor Berbick. Referee stops the fight. Trevor Berbick knew that he had the fight in command. The referee, Jim Korb, knew that Mike Perkins had no chance to win the fight. Why let the kid get split open anymore over that right eye? So I think in this case, a very good decision by referee Jim Korb to stop the fight. It'll be scored as a 10th round TKO win for Trevor Berbick. His record will go to 30 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. And he certainly is moving into the heavyweight picture rapidly. All right, so there it is. Trevor Berbick, the winner on a 10th round TKO.